Did you know that your mobile phone can be your best friend when it comes to making art? I'm not talking about digital artwork and I'm not talking about AI here. I'm talking about making traditional drawings and paintings using your phone as your new best friend when it comes to art. Today I'm going to show you 5 simple tricks you can use straight away using your mobile phone. There is no digital artwork here, as I say. This is to help you with traditional drawing and painting, mostly just using the existing software that's already on your phone. Hi, I'm Wendy Brown, and I've been drawing and painting for over 50 years. I now sell my art and teach my students how to get better at painting and drawing faster and easier with simple, quick, down-to-earth tips that really work. Today, I've got my 5 tips plus a bonus tip at the end that you really won't want to miss, especially if you've ever been stuck with a blurry reference photo that you have to use. Let's get stuck in. Tip number 1, finding good quality, copyright-free reference images. Now, we all know you can go on Google and the world's your oyster. You can find photographs of all sorts of different things on there, and some of them are excellent, but the majority of them will be copyrighted. You can't just take them and use them for your artwork, especially if you're planning to sell your artwork. If you use sites like Pixabay and Pexels, they all have websites and free apps that you can use to download free reference pictures that are also copyright free. So the app is free, the picture is free, and it's copyright free. All you have to do is put in your search criteria. So let's say, for instance, you're looking for a sunset beach view. You can search sunset beach view and it will throw you up lots of different images that will meet that criteria. From there, you can apply filters as well. So you can say, right, I want ones that are red in theme or orange in theme. Or you can say, I want ones that are portrait mode as opposed to landscape mode. You can even say that I want ones that are black and white. There's lots of different ways you can apply filters to these images to narrow it down to that thing that you're really, really looking for. These sites are excellent and I thoroughly recommend them because if you do a painting or a drawing from this and it comes out better than you expected, maybe you do want the option to sell it after all. You can do that without having to worry. You know you've got the option. If you want to sell it for millions, happy days. If all you want to do is create a few cards to sell at your local craft market, you can do that too. Tip number 2, finding help when you're stuck. You're on YouTube now. You already know that this is a good place to find help. During lockdown, I spent hours and hours and hours on YouTube, soaking up all the information I could like a sponge. We all get to that stage sometimes when we've got a painting or a drawing and we're looking at it and we're thinking, I'm stuck. Why does the perspective not look quite right? Or why can't I get these colours to blend the way I want to? Or why can't I put my finger on the colour that I'm trying to blend? What paints do I actually need to use to get the colour that I'm after here? You can go on YouTube and I guarantee there will be pretty much a video for every subject that you could possibly imagine. There are hundreds of thousands of hours of art instruction on YouTube. I'm just one of them. If you want to give me a like and a subscribe, that would be appreciated. But by all means, look at other artists too, because there's a wealth of information out there. It's all at your fingertips. Most of these videos nowadays also have subtitles. So if you're watching on the bus or sat next to your other half on the sofa, or you're in the doctor's waiting room, you can still watch these videos and learn by switching the captions on. Tip number 3, editing and improving reference images. Assuming you've already been on something like Pixabay, you found your great reference image and you've downloaded it. If you're anything like me, it won't be quite right because I'm fussy. Maybe it's a rectangular picture and you want a square one. Or maybe the colours are not quite bright enough. There's lots of things you can do using the existing software that's already on your mobile phone to edit these pictures. Whether you've got Apple or Android, software is very, very similar. They all have tools where you can go into your photo album, you can click on edit, and then from there, you can choose to do things like changing the saturation, which will boost the colors in your picture to make it look a little bit more colorful. You might even want to turn the saturation down to mute it a bit if that's the kind of look you're going for. May not surprise you, but I like the colorful look. You can also change the brightness and the contrast, and that can be very useful. So if you've got something that's a very dark reference image, for instance, if I'm painting somebody's dog and it's black, quite often if the lighting isn't that good, then the whole area under the dog's jaw and its bib can be very, very dark and you struggle to see the definition. Sometimes even the eyes and nose can almost disappear. So if you can pull up your reference picture and edit the brightness and the contrast on it, then you can bring out details that you couldn't previously see. And that's extremely useful. That when you do the painting, You can put a clarity in the painting that was maybe missing in the reference photograph. You need to be careful not to go too far with it, but it can be really useful for just making that picture a little bit more clear. The other thing that's really useful is the crop tool. With the crop tool, you can obviously do things like cropping things out of the picture that you don't want. You can do things like turning a rectangular reference image into a square image. But the other really useful thing you can do with it is use it almost like a thumbnail viewer. Let's say you want to take just part of your reference picture and focus in on that. Well, you can zoom in and you can move that around as I'm doing here. And you can decide, right, do I want to focus in on this bit or this bit or this bit? And it's a bit like years ago when people would draw thumbnails before they committed themselves to doing a painting. They do little tiny pencil sketches, literally not much bigger than your thumbnail, just to say, right, what's the composition going to be here? Where's my horizon line going to go? And where am I going to put my mountains? And it gives you some of that control. In your phone, you can't necessarily go in and say, right, I'm going to move that cottage from the left side of the picture to the right side of the picture. You haven't got that degree of control, but you can slide the viewing window around to decide which bit of the reference picture you want to zoom in on and then save that bit. Years ago, you'd have needed expensive Photoshop software to do all this, and boy, was it complicated. But nowadays, it's so easy and it's all there already on your phone at your fingertips. Tip number 4, checking your painting or drawing by photographing it. This is one thing that I do all the time. You might have heard people say in the past about stepping away from your painting, go make a cup of tea, leave it alone for a bit and come back to it with a fresh pair of eyes, because that would allow you to look at it with a different perspective and suddenly see the things that were wrong. Well, photographing your art will do a very, very similar thing. All you've got to do is take a quick snapshot and then look at it through the phone, and you might find that some of the problems immediately jump out at you. It's very good for spotting things that are wrong with perspective and proportion and shape. Don't ask me what the psychology of it is. I don't know why it works, but I know it does. The other thing you can do is take that photograph of your art and flip it. And by that I mean use the mirror tool to turn your art to face the other way, left to right. When you look at it, it's that fresh pair of eyes thing again. You can suddenly spot what's wrong. For years, artists have said, if you're not sure what's wrong, hold your painting up to the mirror. This is the same kind of thing, but if you haven't got a mirror to hand or you don't want to pick the painting up because it's wet, take a quick snapshot and flip it on the phone and it will have the same effect. In the next tip, I'm going to show you how to spot value problems with your painting in just seconds using your phone. Tip number 5, turning everything to black and white. Now, when I say everything, I mean your reference picture and your artwork. So assuming you're doing a coloured piece of artwork, it could be coloured pencil, it could be a painting, could be pastels. Take a quick snapshot and turn that photograph into black and white. The way I do this is by just reducing the saturation down to 0. There are black and white filters that you can apply on phone apps, but I find that they tend to be a bit too clever because they won't just turn it to black and white. They'll play with the contrast and values at the same time, and that's not what you want. You want to just take the colour out of the picture by reducing the saturation to 0. When you do that, you will suddenly be able to see where your values are off. Do the same thing to your reference picture as well. So if you've got a coloured reference picture, turn that to black and white in the same way, and then compare that to your artwork picture. You will suddenly see what's wrong. It's probable that the light's a lot light enough and the darks are not dark enough. Or it might be that you've got a complete lack of in-between greys, that everything's either too white and too dark and you're missing all the greys in the middle. You won't know until you do it, but this is an extremely powerful tool, and I tend to use this on all of my paintings to double check that I've got my values right before I call it finished. This is another totally free, user-friendly way of checking your art when you think something's off and you're not quite sure what it is. Once you know what it is, you can then take that information and apply the changes to your artwork to make it even better. In a moment, I'll reveal the bonus tip that I promised. But first, I just want to recap on what we've learned already. We've gone through 5 tips, all completely free and easy to use, that you can use on your mobile phone to help you improve your artwork. You've learned how to find copyright-free references. You've learned how to find help. You've learned how to edit references to get them just the way you want to. You've learned how to photograph your arts so that you can check it with a fresh pair of eyes. And you've learned how to change your reference picture and your artwork into black and white so that you can check your values. Do all of those and your artwork will improve massively. If you've got any questions about these tips, please put them in the questions down below and I'll get to as many of them as I can, I promise. Again, if you'd be kind enough to hit like and subscribe, it would be much appreciated, and it tells me and YouTube that you like this video and you want me to make more of this kind of thing. Now, the bonus tip. This is where I'm going to dip my toe into AI. Only my little toe. We're not going to do anything with AI that involves creating art with AI, and there's certainly no digital artwork involved. This is just about using AI to clean up a reference photo. There is an app called Remini, and there are other similar apps that will allow you to upload a dodgy reference picture, maybe a really blurry one of your dog in the distance or your granddad from 1946, and it will allow you to upload that picture into the software and it will clean it up for you. All you have to do is upload the photograph, watch the advert while the image is processing, and within a minute, you'll have a clean version of the reference picture. Now, do use a little bit of caution. It doesn't always get it 100% right. I used it once and it tried to fix a blurry eye, and when you looked at the fixed version, it was obvious that it wasn't quite right. But 9 times out of 10, it's pretty accurate. And you can suddenly see things like eyelashes and creases in lips and really little details that you couldn't see in the original photograph. So it can be an extremely useful tool. If you ever have to do a portrait for somebody and the reference picture they give you is dodgy, this is a great way to clean it up. If you want more practical painting tips, watch this video next. It's packed with simple information on how to make your painting better, faster. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.